The Ghost at the Table, a memoir of surviving life, the streets, and corporate America by R.R. Mebane. Prologue. If I stumbled, if I had forgotten my lines, if I had broken character, my whole race would have felt my disgrace. R.R. Mebane, author. The Ghost at the Table. The psycho-biographical construct, the boardroom, radiates opulence, the kind of room where power consumes mink for breakfast and cleanses its palates with Sazerac-flavored ice cream. The vaulted ceilings are marble, and I can see my face in the massive war tables shine. But smooth surfaces can lie, like a weary gigolo untouched by luxury. I sit unimpressed amid the grandeur, lost in a bent dream about a bench street in a broken North Memphis neighborhood, filled with rainbow-colored souls. The sweet smells of the grand conference rooms, furniture, and tapestries waft into my memories, stark against the scenes from the hidden Negro life that led me to this very seat. Snowy vanilla faces file into the chilly boardroom on this cold December day, an appropriately sober setting for the sausage-making ahead. It might get ugly. African-American me observes from behind the textured mask I wear to this arena. It's necessary equipment to survive this world where I, theoretically, do not belong. Like a bespoke suit, I have donned a khaki persona that serves me well in the blood sports of life and business. I'm not dark enough to be seen as a threat, but still too paper bag brown for my colleagues to ignore the legacy written into my skin. Light-skinned or not, the world still only sees me as basic black. As we debate the final details consummating a $100 million decision to sell corporate assets in a $5 billion healthcare system, my internal GPS quietly reminded me of my unauthorized attendance. Its ego-checking presence is constant. It is always the ghost at the table. In a Jim Crow sense, my very presence in this meeting, like in so many others before it, felt like standing on a stage representing the world's dark, forgotten faces. If I stumbled, if I had forgotten my lines, if I had broke character, my whole race would have felt my disgrace. As a full-fledged board member, my vote will help determine the new hospital ownership and impact quality of care and access for countless people. This jittery discussion could determine whether real people live or die, and not just for those lying in our hospital beds. In the world outside the boardroom, health disparities and lack of healthcare access quietly morph into racially tinged injustices. Being oblivious to the injustices around us makes it easy to do nothing when it is not a personal matter, but social and cultural incompetence can be a dangerous recipe for societal combustion. The seeds of my existence were sown on a slave plantation in North Carolina, 1806. My roots took me from Knuckles Road in southwest Tennessee to Poplar Avenue, the Dixie Homes Projects, and Delmar Avenue in Memphis, rising at last to a leather chair where I was the only person of color in the room. I am not a member of the trust fund gentry. My ancestors probably chopped the wood and hauled the marble that built this room, but I am here nonetheless. I am vote ready. Despite my cotton picker roots, I am here on a mission, a personally negotiated agenda as part of the legacy Underground Railroad minority. My job has always been, to breaking down the barriers and getting as many of my people across the generational poverty line as possible. Mine is one man's attempt to change an unfair system for the better. In America, you get to write your own script, but only if you are shrewd and lucky enough to be cast in the right place at the right time. Post-civil rights movement in America is a place where judgment and ostracization based on color is still standard operating procedure. Even as a voting board member and working executive, my GPS ghost constantly hovers like a nagging mother, reminding me that there is much work still to do to correct the wrongs of the past. That work starts with this vote. My one vote carries the weight of my ancestors' suffering and that of society's poor outliers, those without money, those without a voice. I was born one of them, and when I crossed the generational poverty line, I carried with me the duty to never forget. The board meeting drags on, a mere formality after decisions were quietly settled days ago during the real meetings behind closed doors, away from public view and beyond the reach of many who are still here today. Still, against the odds, I found myself at the table. I had managed to slip through the cracks of white power to have a seat at the table with my ghost GPS on Spider-Man alert. I feel a low-level churn in gut, a quiet signal I've come to trust, like an internal sonar pinging off unseen walls and barriers visible only to a black man in America. In today's world of constant connectivity and digital footprinting, every click and comment becomes part of your story and the digital crumbs we leave behind us. This is the digital world, the digital now that defines our legacy. But none of these tracking tools come close to the chemical signature accuracy that my GPS provides. Like most tools, it can be a great asset or a dangerous weapon. On balance, it has safely and faithfully guided me on my perilous journey from the pit of North Memphis street life to where I sit now among the wealthy elite. At pivotal times, this old and faithful friend has brought me to crossroads and pointed me down necessary and sometimes painful paths. But it can't be turned off. The constant direction and redirection are like eating a melting vinegar popsicle. It's hard to keep up between licks. And the bittersweet taste stays with you for a while.